Hey everyone, Stephen Glicker here from World from Combat, and it looks like January 4th is turning into an annual let's try to crash and burn the company over at WoTC, because last year on January 4th is when the OGL debacle happened and they tried to destroy Dungeons and Dragons, and you can see our extensive coverage since we actually broke the story. That's right, one day before Linda Codega, over here at World for Combat, myself and Mark Seifter broke the original OGL story, and you can see our entire history here over here at World for Combat, our YouTube channel. Well, this year on January 4th, they decided to try to crash and burn Magic the Gathering. You know, the only thing actually making money for Hasbro and WoTC right now. Well, let's take a look at this, shall we? So, it started off innocently enough. On January 4th, they posted this image and they said, hey, let's celebrate everything about Magic. Look at this amazing new art. It's beautiful. And this is a beautiful image. But people looked at it and they started to say, you know what? This image kind of looks like it's made from AI. And didn't you say that you're not using AI anymore? Wasn't that your whole thing? And sure enough, people started to look and point out specific aspects. Like if you look here, you can see like there's weird texturing and all this weird artifacting. And they're like, that's probably AI. But then this is where it gets so weird and dumb. Is that why do they keep doing this? Is they decided, WotC decided to fight with their fans. Why? Why are you fighting with your fans? They said, no, this is not AI. You are incorrect. And they even then said, we stand by original statement. This art was created by humans and not AI. Well, all that happened is the community doubled, tripled, quadrupled down and saying that, yes, this is AI. Let's take a look. And then Script put out this beautiful image detailing how this is completely done by AI. And it is not a photo, it's not a render, it's not a painting. There's no artist credited. There's no signature. And then he just went through and explained in detail why this is AI. And so did many others. And then lo and behold, yesterday they came out and they said, whoops, yeah, this was done by AI. So sorry, we didn't mean that. They put out an entirely, this big statement, and they said, well, we made a mistake early. We said marketing images we posted was not created using AI. And they keep going on, and I'll read this whole thing a little bit, but here's the tricky part, okay? They're very careful in saying, again, always read these, because these are crafted very carefully. And they said here, we made a mistake early when we said our marketing image we posted was not created using AI. Now, they're very careful here to say that's a marketing image and that we posted, not that they created, because they're saying that we didn't create this. We had nothing to do with this. This was done by an outside vendor. Even so much so that they say here, while the art came from a vendor, it's on us to make sure we're living up to a promise to support amazing art, amazing human integrity that makes Magic great. And they also say here, we made it clear that we require artists, writers, and creatives contributing to Magic Gathering to refrain from using AI generative tools to create final Magic products. Now, artists, writers, and creators, keep saying that word wrong. You know what I'm talking about. They're very specific here, saying, okay, if you're actually creating stuff for Magic the game, they're artists, writers, and creatives, they can't use AI. But what about vendors and, quote, creative, whoops, double, triple checked on that, creative beyond our products, like those marketing images? Well, they might be using AI. And, yeah, we really can't control that. But of course, now they have to go back, which they're going to hate, is that they're going to start saying, well, okay, now no one can use AI. We can't have our creatives. We can't have marketing images. We can't have vendors. No one associated with Magic the Gathering should be using AI. But they were kind of hoping they might, and I'm going to explain why in a second. And on top of that, I love how they say here, it's like, oh, looks like some AI components are now popping up in industry standard tools like Photoshop. Really? Really? Are you blaming Photoshop for this? Okay, I hate to break it to you, AI generative tools have been in Photoshop for absolutely forever. I can't even remember a time when there weren't like, creative tools or AI type of generative tools in Photoshop. So, where does this all net out to? Well, let's back up for a second. Is that this all comes to brand and brand image, okay? Magic the Gathering is known for two things. It's known for the game, okay? The game itself is fantastic, and it's known for its artwork. So much so that there's a huge lawsuit going on that all these AI tools were trained using magic art. That is how distinctive magic art has been. And magic art has been around for 30 years. It's the main component of Magic the Gathering. It is literally the peanut butter to the jelly of the game. Okay, art is everything to Magic the Gathering. And they have to be very, very careful. In fact, because of this debacle, one of their artists quit, very publicly quit, and saying he's no longer working with WoTC because of this. So what does this mean? Is that, well, here's the thing. They cannot be using AI art, and not just them, but all their vendors. And this is actually going to become a huge problem. And this is not just for WoTC. This is going to happen to lots of people. And I'll explain why in a second. So, lots of people like AI. I know you don't want to hear this. I work in advertising, and advertising agencies love it. And I mean, they love it. And they're using it left and right. And I'm going to tell you, because they need what's called disposable art. Okay? They have to post new images all the time. Okay? If they are in charge of a marketing campaign, a social media campaign, they need to be coming up with amazing images and content constantly. Let's say I needed a picture of a typewriter, an old-fashioned typewriter. Well, what are my options? I can go find a typewriter. I can bring it into a studio. I can take a picture of it. I can then fine-tune it, Photoshop it, make it look great, and then put it on a disposable image that's going to go in a tweet and will never be used again. Or I can go to clip art or stock art, find a picture of a typewriter, and use that, which up to now is pretty much what every single person has done. But imagine someone said to me, aka my client, it said, Steve, can we get an old-fashioned typewriter that has, oh, I don't know, lights in it and all this cool stuff, like lights and gadgets and gizmos and gears? And now I'm like, ugh, all right, this is going to be for an image that's literally shown once. So I'm going to have to go find the image. I'm going to have to then put it into Photoshop. I'm going to spend hours cleaning it up and adding all those wires and gizmos. Someone I'm paying, and maybe it takes them 8 hours to do this, fine tune it. We throw it in a tweet and it's gone forever. Okay? AKA what's called the disposable image. Well, there's a third option. Let's go to AI. Old-fashioned typewriter, bells, whistles, gears, go. And bing, it makes it. Fine-tune it a little, spend 5-10 minutes, voila! I have exactly what the client requested. It looks great. Sure, it's a little AI-y, but you know what? This is for people who make airplanes. Who cares, right? And that's true. Okay, do you think people are making lawnmowers? Do you think the lawnmower manufacturers care if they're using AI art? Of course not. You think if I'm making, well, cars might. If I'm making airplanes, do you think anyone who's making airplanes cares? No. Okay? And that's the thing. It's context. All right? If I'm using AI art and I'm selling a Boeing 747, who cares if I'm using AI art? But if I'm Marvel selling comics, if I'm, oh, I don't know, Magic the Gathering, selling Magic the Gathering, cards and artwork, and celebrating everything that is Magic. If I'm D&D, celebrating, oh, all their new art and their brand new books, they can't be touching AI art with a 10-foot pole. Huh? You see what I did there? Old timers are going to get that one. 10-foot pole. Anyhow, you You, being WoTC, you can't do this anymore. And you, unfortunately, are going to have to go to all your vendors and tell them you can't use AI art. Okay? I know this stinks. I know you guys hate this, but you can't. And they're going to say, that's fine. However, first, we're going to have to charge you more. And second, we can't go as quickly as you want because it's going to take us longer to come up with these amazing images. And this is the thing. Who cares? Okay? They will lose, they being WoTC, a couple of hundred, maybe $100,000 more. Okay? Maybe it'll cost them an extra $100,000 or a couple of hundreds of $100,000 to create more realistic, detailed, hand-drawn, human-made images for their marketing images. Big deal. Okay? They made $1 billion last year. $1 billion on Magic the Gathering. What is a couple of $100,000? How much are you possibly saving using AI art? Is it worth it? And that is what we said in the whole OGL debacle, is that they were trying to get more money by the OGL debacle. And the amount of goodwill and the amount of canceled subscriptions for D&D Beyond far outweighed any extra money they were going to get for years, okay? It was such a big loss that if they did nothing, they would have been ahead. And now they're far behind, and it cost them so many millions of dollars that it wasn't worth it. Well, guess what? How much did you save using AI art? Seriously, a couple of $1,000, maybe? Is it worth it? Is it worth the controversy? Is it worth yet another negative story? Is it worth people maybe souring themselves on WoTC one more time? And that's it. That's what it comes down to, is that, listen, I know it stinks, that it's becoming industry standard, that especially for disposable art. Now, I'm not talking about the cards themselves, okay? The day they start using AI art for Magic the Gathering cards, you might as well just go bankrupt right then and there, okay? Because that's going to be the sign of going bankrupt. It comes down to context. Is that you cannot use AI art for disposable art, and I know everyone else is doing it, and everyone else is going to be doing it from now on and in the future. And I know it stinks, and I know a lot of people are against this, especially the artists, but this is really no different than using stock art or clip art, which is used everywhere. And this is just one step beyond stock art. And this is going to be annoying. You won't be able to go as quickly. You won't be able to have images that look exactly the way you want them to look. You're going to have to spend more money on artists and disposable art. But it's probably worth it if you're going to tank your entire reputation and everything you've spent over 30 years building Magic the Gathering on. And quite frankly, this is the last thing you have that's really making you money. And if you destroy Magic in any way, shape, or form, well, you might as well just go bankrupt now. And final piece of advice, don't pick fights with your fans. You keep doing this. Why are you picking fights? You keep losing. It makes you look petty. It makes you look small. And more importantly, you've been wrong every single time. It was one thing if you were right, but you keep being wrong. This is what you do next time this happens. Say, thank you for pointing this out, diligent fans and lovers of Magic the Gathering. We are going to look into this, check with our vendors, and make sure that they were not using incorrect tools for our products. We will get to the bottom of this and get back to you with our results shortly. And that's it. Don't pick a fight. Just say, you know what, you're right. We're going to look into this and we'll let you know what we find. And then everyone will hold on and talk about it. And their ire won't be directed at you. They'll just be directed at, oh, maybe the situation. And then just come out. Throw your freaking vendor under the bus. Because you can replace vendors, all right? You can. They're replaced all the time, but you can't replace your fans. I don't know what you're doing. Anyhow, thanks again for listening. If you want to see all of our amazing products over here at Roll for Combat, please go to battlezoo.com, or you can go to rollforcombat.com, and you can check out all of our amazing books for 5e and Pathfinder. You could play a dragon, you could play a dungeon, you could play a dungeon and a dragon, you can play an intelligent weapon. We have our Battlezoo Bestiary, where we have strange and unusual monsters. We have the monster part system, where you can actually create all of your gear out of monster parts. If you like, Monster Hunter, you're going to love this. It's awesome. We have our new adventure, the Jewel of the Indigo Isle. You can download the entire first chapter for free. It comes with pre-generated characters. It comes with a player's guide. It comes with maps. It is fantastic. Tokens, you name it. It's everything you need to run the adventure. You can get all of that at battlezoo.com. Anyhow, with that, thanks you so much for listening, and I'll see you and talk to you later.